Hello everyone, this is Dennison from DappHero. I wanted to go through a little quick tutorial showing you today how easy it is to convert a WebFlow template into a Web3 enabled Dapp. And today I'm going to do an example with a smart contract. So basically I have been creating something for the workshop that I'm going to be doing later today. And that's basically a really simple example where you input a special message here. You confirm it, makes a transaction, and then you can get the message here. So just to give you an example is, hello viewers. Now I click this. I don't know if you can see, but I have a MetaMask pop-up that comes up, and I confirm it, and now a transaction is started. So what I'm gonna do today is actually I'm gonna go through and show you how we could do the same thing with a WebFlow template and no code, so you don't have to see any of this, although it's only HTML, so it hopefully isn't too scary. But if you don't want to see HTML, we'll make it even easier and we'll go to WebFlow. So what we're going to do is we're just going to find a clonable template that somebody has made and just sort of like convert it. So let's look. We just want something where we're just sort of showing one piece of data, one piece of information. Really simple. What's this? Make America gradient again. All right. Well, political connotations aside, this is one piece of data, one thing in the middle, and it shows off some really interesting playfulness with interactions, gradients. So I've clicked clone, and now I'm going to do create project, and I'm just going to call this Biddlework. Biddlework. Good. So now starting it up. Now to do this, you're going to probably need, if you're going to start from scratch, depending, you're going to need to be signed up with WebFlow. And to add script tags on your own, you'll also need a subscription with WebFlow. So there's a little bit more friction there if you want a free option, but you can always clone our templates, DappHero templates, and get started from those where you have a script tag already embedded. So in this case, let's take our script tag from here. I'm just going to follow along with the code that I've already written down here. And I'm going to add that to the page, on the home page. There's a little gear icon here that I'm clicking. I don't know if you can see my mouse. But down here in the before body tag, I'm going to paste in the script tag, right? So save. Great. So now let's just publish this just to see what it looks like without anything done to it. All right. It'll work. WebFlow. All right. Make American gradient again. All right. Again, political connotations aside, this works. But let's see. Is DappHero here? One thing that you can do, because sometimes it's a little tricky to know if you have everything running, is you can go into the console. You can type DappHero, and that'll give you enabled, yeah, true, and then it actually tells us we already have our contracts coming in, workshop contract. And now this workshop contract, to be clear, that's coming in because I've already set up a project over here in Biddle Week Workshop, and if I open it up, this is the script tag that I'm using, and under smart contracts, this is the contract that we have in there, and it's a pretty short, simple contract. So that's where it's coming from, not magic. It's just on the script tag. So first thing we need to do is, first of all DappHero projects need an enable button, and that basically is a button that turns on Web3, turns on the blockchain and gets permissions from MetaMask to do so. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to add this button to maybe the bottom of the page. Where to show? Okay, well, let me add it below there at the. Oh, I'm going to do it outside of that body, but then I'm going to put it right down here at the bottom, right? So now it's at the bottom of the page, button text. And I'm going to change that to say, enable Web3, exclamation point. But now let's see this sort of power of WebFlow really quickly. I'm over here in the side panel. I'm gonna add a little bit of margin here, so we get a little bit of space. So let's see, maybe a little bit more, right? Okay, great. And let's style this button a little bit different. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of rounded edges to it, and I'm going to give it my favorite color, which at the moment is this like really hot pink. Great. So now we need to turn this into a real DappHero element. So what we do, as you can see here in this code, a button needs the DataDH feature network, because the enable button comes from the network feature, and then it needs to be enabled, true. So let's do, I'm going to copy and paste because I'm terrible at making typos. So I don't want to be slowed down by typos, so we're just going to copy and paste. So we're going over here to this little gear icon, and we're going to add a custom attribute. So data DH feature, and this is network. Let's go back over, and how we're going to do data DH property enable, right, which is true. Enable, and then we'll just give it the true value. Great. So now we have our button. The next thing we need is we need to actually create a method instance for this smart contract that we're interacting with. And this smart contract is called the workshop contract. So let's get a div. We'll add a div. And now this div is here, and you can add divs. You add these sort of tags to divs, but you can hide them so it doesn't have to mess up your layout. See? Hidden? Non-hidden. All right. So on this div tag, we're going to create our contract instance. So let me just go back over to this. So we're going to call it data DH. This is, by the way, the contract instance, the method instance that we're creating here. So it's on the contract, custom contract, which is the same contract that is in my DappHero project, workshop contract. So custom contract, workshop contract is the name of it. Method name, special message is the method that we're going to be invoking. Then we're going to give it a method ID, and then we're going to actually make it auto invoke. That means have it load as soon as the page loads. So let's add the feature custom contract. Feature over here, custom contract. Be really careful about typos because I'm the worst with typos. And then we're going to add the contract name, which is workshop contract. So that's data DH property contract name, workshop contract. Let me just be sure I spelled the workshop contract. Is that right? Yeah, workshop contract. Great. So let's save that one. Next one we need is the method name, data DH property method name, which is special message, right? And that is our method name, special message. Let's see. Let's just be sure. Yep, camel case. It is case sensitive, so it's important to match your cases. Now we need to give it an ID. And this ID is because we're going to be connecting this this contract method instance, with that text that's up inside our page. And to do that, we need to link it with an ID. So we're doing data DH property method ID, and for this, it's just going to be 000. You can pick anything, it just has to be the same so that the DappHero engine knows that they're related. And because we want to make this an auto-invoking method, so we want it to run and get this data from the blockchain as soon as the page loads, we're going to add an auto-invoke. So in that case, we have data DH property auto-invoke, and that's going to be true. All right, so now that we've done that, we have our method instance set up. So now DappHero is going to recognize that we are trying to access this method, special message, on workshop contract, right? So now we just need to get the data, right? So normally you might use a div, or not normally, however you use it, you might use a div. So let's copy this, right? So we're going to do data DH property method ID because the instance has to be the same as the ID has to be the same on the instance as the other elements, so the DappHero engine knows to link it. So let's find, where are we at? Heading, right? So here's the heading. There's actually text here, but it's white. So what we're going to do is we're going to add our method ID, which if you remember was 000. We can check that. Let's just click on our div down here. Method name, not that one. Method ID 000. Okay, so that should be the same. And now what we want to do is we want to get our outputs. So data DH property outputs. That tells us that all the outputs from this method, when we call it, should go inside this div, inside this element. So let's just copy that, and we're going to put that in here as well. Data DH property outputs, true. So now what we're telling the DappHero engine is that this heading right here, that should be actually getting data from the blockchain. So we're clicking publish. And assuming we haven't made any typos or done anything out of order, it should load up. Make America Great again, okay? Political connotations aside. What we need to do first is we need to enable Web3. And you can't see it right here, I don't think, but a MetaMask pop-up has popped up. So now I'm connected. And because it's auto-invoked, we get our special message that just immediately pops up. And now, because we're already connected, you can just refresh the page, and it automatically gets the data when you first join. So that's a perfect example of how you can sort of create an interesting, funky experience using WebFlow. We didn't have to do anything special. We just cloned a template directly from the template store in WebFlow. It was just a free clonable one that was out there. Maybe we can just show you right now. We can actually change the message. So, hello from Ethereum land. Now I'm clicking the button and I have a MetaMask pop-up, which I'm confirming. You can see that our transaction has started down here. It'll be probably a second. So we'll wait until that loads up. Until our transaction confirms. It should be any moment. Has it already? Maybe I missed the confirmation. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I just saw that the transaction should have confirmed. So if we refresh the page, it should say hello from Ethereum land. So there you go. That's a quick example of how you can enable a WebFlow clonable template to be a Web3 Dapp in just a couple minutes without using any code. You just add these tags to your elements and then it works right out of the box. So I hope you like that. And if you're seeing this before my workshop tutorial this evening here in Denver, then you're seeing it now. But I'll be redoing this live later. But I hope you enjoyed it.